Hey guys, my name is Marta, welcome to my channel, and I finally read the internet's most well-known book in these last few years, which is My Year of Rest and Relaxation by moshfegh. As many of you will probably already know, or if you don't, where have you been these last few years? Moshfegh's My Year of Rest and Relaxation is a novel about this woman who remains unnamed for the entirety of the book and who one day decides that he's going to hibernate for an entire year in order to, when he awakens, be completely changed. This is a book that, from the synopsis you can tell, is going to deal with a very sad, depressed and demotivated main character who, throughout the book, will try to fall asleep thanks to the use of drugs. Pills that he will get prescribed by a questionable psychologist, psychiatrist, I don't even know what he's supposed to be, but her doctor, who doesn't seem to be a very legal one. Our main protagonist also has a friend by her side, Riva. A friend that I doubt whether it's good or not to call a friend, since she doesn't really treat her as she should. Her relationship with Riva is pretty complex. You can see how they are a bit toxic for one another. Riva also has her own struggles. He is basically labeled for her illness, which is bulimia, and the few times he appears in the book, he's complaining about how our main character is way skinnier than her, and also talking about the different diets that he's trying. But despite Riva's sickness, the main point of the book is our main character's sleeping project, as I'm going to call in this review. We can tell from the very beginning of the book that our main character is not really happy. He's bored of her job, he's bored of her life, and he just wants a change. And what better way to do so than falling asleep and waking up with a completely new life, or that is at least what she thinks it's going to happen. As you can probably guess, the book doesn't really have a clear plot. We just follow our main character trying to fall asleep and trying different methods in order to keep herself sleeping while she keeps getting interrupted by different things that happen in her life, and at one point even her own inability to sleep. This is a book that does not only deal with depression and with this coping mechanism that our main character has, but it also deals with other themes such as grief. In fact, the fact that our main character's parents have died months within one another is something that is talked about quite a few times in the book, and the way that our main character deals with that is something that is also worth examining, since it clearly relates to her own situation at the very moment. The book also, as I have said, talks about friendship. Even though our main character's friendship with Riva is not a healthy one, you can clearly see how they feel some sort of affection for one another and how they slightly care about the other's life, since throughout the book they keep bumping into each other and their lives keep crossing. Something that we will see at the very end once our main character wakes up from her year-long sleep has changed, and then we'll see how she misses Riva. And I am so sorry if I just spoiled the book for you, but I guess this is a book that pretty much everyone has read by now, and I personally think I was one of the latest ones, at least here on BookTube, that got to it. But despite of the plot, the thing that I think is the greatest of the book is the writing style. Moshfegh is clearly a very skilled author. She really knows how to do humor, she really knows how to be ironic, and she really knows how to keep a plotless story going. In fact, this book, despite not having a clear plot, and despite it being sometimes a bit repetitive on what's going on, since there are pages after pages about our main character falling asleep, waking up throughout the night, doing weird shit and then going to sleep again, or just our main character going to get some pills. The book is and feels very fresh through its almost 300 pages, and it is a very readable story, something that is clearly one of the main reasons why it's been so popular the last few years and why so many people have read and loved it. What is a moshfegh writing style is then, as I have said, very ironic, and you can clearly see how he is satirizing society in this book and how our main character remains unnamed for a reason. That reason being, as you can probably guess, the fact that we are all a bit like her and that anyone is able to at least feel for her and understand her feelings, since we've all felt sad, we've all wanted to sleep for a year and see that everything in our lives have changed despite not doing so. Yeah, this book is, I think, a great depiction of today's society, today's young generation, who is, despite apparently having a perfect life, sometimes struggling, something that is very much highlighted by the fact that our main character's life is apparently perfect. She's very pretty, something that is emphasized throughout the book. She has a job, a friend, but she is still sad and depressed, and her parents have died and she's having her own issues with her home. Yeah, I think this book is a perfect depiction of today's generation, of also that one that happened 20 years ago, since this book is set in the early 2000s, and I think this book is overall pretty atemporal, because if you deeply think about it, this story could be projected to any era, to any time period, and it would still make the same sense as it has as a contemporary novel. So this book, I do not have much to say about it because there's much that has already been said about it and I don't want to be repetitive, but I would highly recommend it if you haven't read it yet. It's clearly a good satire, it's a good fast read, it's a book that keeps you reading, that you want to continue reading while you're reading it, and it's a book with a fantastic, sometimes gross writing style that is overall very captivating. Because yeah, I forgot to say that some aspects of the book are sometimes a bit gross, and that might not be for everyone. In fact, this book is most likely not for everyone because some people really hate it. But if you vibe with it, if you vibe with very satiric, very ironic and critic writing styles, and with books that clearly highlight a femininity that is not the one that we tend to see in novels, and that really focus on the struggles of being a young woman in the 21st century, you will most likely like this book. And yeah, personally I adored it. I cannot wait to read more moshfegh. I wanted this to be my first one of hers because it's her most popular, well-known and loved book, but probably my next one will be her most recent one, La Bona, which is something completely different from this. It's also gross from what I've heard, but it's set in medieval times and it has a ship in the cover, which is something that I am very curious about. So yeah, My Year of Rest and Relaxation, a fantastic depiction of contemporary New York, even if it's set 20 years back. But yeah, still good, fantastic, loved it, really recommend it. Please read it if you haven't read it yet, because you are clearly missing out, as I was before picking it up. Yeah, if you like this type of sad girl books, I do have a video on some sad girl book recommendations that I read this summer. I only recommend 3 books, but they are pretty well reviewed, so I will link it down below in case you're curious. That was all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below if you read My Year of Rest and Relaxation and what were your thoughts on it. Comment down below what is your favorite moshfegh novel. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more from me. Give this video a like if you like it, and I hope you have this gone amazing, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!